There's a lot of stuff in there that I wasn't particularly interested in, but someone convinced me to at least give the Costco video a watch. So I'm just like, okay, you know what? I'll give it a chance. I'm not gonna say I'm absolutely loving the stuff, but I'm gonna give it a fair chance at it though, because I think that I at least owe it that much. Because even at first glance, like, yeah, not really like not a big fan, but I'm gonna give it a fair shot, at the very least. And I will be very, very disappointed if the Costco $1.50 hot dog or whatever it is not mentioned. I will be very disappointed. My disappointment will not be measurable. It should be... Get this open here. I have too many tabs open right now. But yes, you would be remembering correctly though. Theater mode. Okay, this should be the right one. I don't need this open. I have too much stuff open. Okay. This is why I need to get 2 monitors. So I could keep track of everything easier. Alright, and gonna adjust the size of this a little bit. Alright, should be the right scene. Yeah. I figured at least since it's Costco, I'm gonna give it the Costco chance. That's the least I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna give it the Costco chance. If it doesn't have to cost then, because I've heard really good things about Costco anyway, so I'm hoping it's good. I'm hoping this is a fun rabbit hole. If it's not, well, that's okay too. But just if the volume is too loud or whatever, just please, please, please let me know. At the very least. The volume is too much. Steam. Most gangster grocery store on Earth, Costco.
Ah, yes, Costco, the only grocery
that's
store on the planet that makes almost no money from selling groceries, yet is somehow one of the most profitable grocery stores on the planet through nothing other than psychological tricks and magic.
Psychological tricks and magic? What are we getting into? What are we getting into here?
Today we're talking about Costco. We all know what Costco is because the members of Costco never shut up about Costco. They're just out there in the world roaming around, non-ironically wearing clothing from Costco's in-house brand, Kirkland, desperately waiting for anybody to ask them what Kirkland is so that they can inform and educate, preach the gospel to these non-believers that Kirkland is actually manufactured by name brand manufacturers and the products are cheaper and better than any other name brand product. And if that's not what they're up to, they're out there flashing their Costco membership card, trying to use it to get laid, and it's working a shocking amount of the time, apparently. And there's a good reason for that. Costco is selling all of its products at a net zero, meaning they don't make any money when they sell you something. In fact, some of their items, they even sell at a net loss, meaning the more they sell, the more money they lose. Yet somehow, they still manage to pay all their employees well above their competitors and have a net profit of over $6 billion a year. And I'm gonna explain how that's even possible right after word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by Rocket Money, your all-in-one finance finance app that's going to help you cancel subscriptions, lower your
I'm not
monthly
ready
bills,
for
and
this
overall
rabbit
manage your
hole.
money better. Rocket Money covers pretty
I'm
much
not
everything.
ready.
They will let you monitor your credit score. They help you manage your budget by letting you see all of your expenses in one easy location. And then if you want them to, they can actually go in and help negotiate a lower price on some of your bills, like your cell phone, for example. And they don't just save you money by negotiating down some of your
Because I
bills. They
know,
also
like,
help you identify and cancel a bunch of
stores
subscriptions that you
have-
probably didn't even know that you had. And this is my favorite part because
Hold
me
up,
and my
I'll
wife,
finish.
mostly my
Sponsor.
wife, has a horrible habit of signing up for free trials on apps and then forgetting to cancel them. But luckily, Rocket Money's here to let me know that I've been spending $7.99 a month every month for the past 3 years on some photo editing app that my wife used one time for an Instagram post. Yeah, babe, what's up?
How many guns did you buy this year?
No comment. Wait, what? How do you even know I'm talking about you right now? Did you bug my office?
A, don't worry about it. B, keep my name out of your mouth.
All right. I gotta finish the ad. I gotta go. Love you. That could have went better. Anyways, if you want to take control of your finances today, go check out Rocket Money. I will have a link in the description down below. Let's get back to the video.
Like, the only thing I know about grocery store is there's like a lot of things that get sold at a loss. Like, I know the store I used to work at had these those like rotisserie chickens that you can buy, or there's like pre-cooked chickens that are like warm and hot that you can just buy or whatever. Well, they had them all the way in the back of the store at the one I worked in. And I know that a lot of times they'd be like, oh, these are on sale. Oh, these are on sale. So I'm gonna go to that door. Then they go past a whole bunch of other stuff to go get the chicken. And then it's like, oh, well, I might need this or I might need this. And then, they go to grab the stuff and holy crap. Here's a cart full of stuff that I didn't intend on coming in here with and leaving with. But here we are. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if Costco has multiple objects that are like that, but I've never been in a Costco, so I don't know anything about how they're laid out or anything like that. So I'm really kind of getting a little excited about this, I'm not gonna lie.
There's a baby monitor in my office. All right, so Costco. Our story begins in 1954 with a man by the name of Saul Price who convinces his mother-in-law to buy a warehouse as an investment property. However, mother-in-law wasn't a commercial real estate mogul and had no idea what to do with this warehouse, so Saul Price is like, you know what? Fine, I'll rent the warehouse from you and I'll put a business inside of it. Don't know what it's going to be yet, but I'll figure it out. He then stumbles across a brilliant business known as Fedco, which is essentially a large in-bulk grocery store that offers very, very cheap groceries to its members, and the only way that you could be a member of Fedco was to work for the federal government. So Saul Price approaches Fedco and is like, hey, you guys have a great business model. I've got a big empty warehouse. Let's partner together. We'll make this a Fedco also. It'll be great. Fedco is like, nah, we're good. At which point Saul Price is like, okay, that's fine. Well, I'm just going to steal your business model because you can't patent selling groceries at a discount to members. So I'm going to open up my own equivalent of your store called FedMart. The only difference is instead of selling groceries cheap to members, I'm going to sell groceries really, really cheap to members. Like, I'm almost not going to make money off of selling groceries, and I'm going to charge them a $2 membership fee. Okay, and this business model seems kind of weird, but it's actually genius. Okay, Leonardo da Vinci once said that simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication, and that's what's going on with this business model. If you don't know, grocery stores are probably one of, if not the most competitive retail environments on the planet. The profit margins on food in grocery stores is so razor thin, it's crazy. And what FedMart has done with this business model is essentially said, I'm not going to compete in this highly competitive environment. I'm going to sell my groceries at net zero. I'm not going to make money. I'm just going to break even on everything I sell, and I'm going to make all my money off of charging a monthly subscription fee of $2 to let everybody shop at my grocery store where my stuff is the cheapest because I'm not making any money off of it. I have no profit margin there. So if the customers shop here enough, they're going to save enough money to offset their membership fee, saving money overall. I'm going to make money, and it's a win-win for everybody. In its first year of business, FedMart does 4 times its projected amount of profit, and they end up opening a bunch of more stores within a couple of more years all across the United States. Within 5 years, by 1959, FedMart goes public and continues to be outrageously successful. Fast forward to 1975, a German conglomerate company buys up the majority of the stocks in the stock market and they assume control of FedMart. Now, these German investors assume control of the company, and naturally they're like, wow, what a brilliant business strategy. It's so simple, it's physically painful. All I have
I thought Costco memberships were more expensive. Just looking at the cost of them, like even just looking at the prices of Costco memberships now, I'm still having a very hard time wrapping my head around how they could be making money. Or how they'll make money at net zero, like. Because a lot of people I've heard, like, oh yeah, I'm happy working here, and I'm just like, huh. So I don't understand this. This is just boggling my brain.
have to do is change nothing and rake in money. But you know, it'd be cooler if we re-German engineered the entire thing. I bet we could get 3% better performance if we made this like 1,000 times more complicated. So that's what they did. They German engineered the company, and by 1983, completely out of business and shut down. So Saul Price is like, I made a ton of money going public with my business. They ruined it. It's closed down. There's no other company like mine. I'm going to start the exact same company all over again. So he buys an empty aircraft hangar and starts Price Mart with the same exact business model.
Makes
Oh,
sense.
shit. Here we
Here
go again.
Now, around the same exact time, Saul Price's old protege from FedMart, a guy by the name of Jim Senegal, ended up opening up his own business with his business partner, a lawyer by the name of Jeff Brotman. And that business was Costco, that also had the exact same business model. So Costco and Price Mart end up being competitors for a little while, and then they eventually end up merging together and they form Price Costco, and then it just becomes Costco, and this is what we have today. And modern day Costco really hasn't changed their business model. They still run a net zero on almost all of their products, and they make 92% of all of their money off of membership fees.
That's
So if Costco
insane.
wants to make more money, they have to A, maintain the members they have, and B, get more members. So how do you do that? You be competitive. You have the best prices, which check, Costco already does because they run everything at a net zero. They're not making money. You can't get better prices than what Costco already has. So what else can they do to improve their business? They have to make shopping there fun, and that's exactly what they do. Okay, and this is where the psychological warfare and magic comes into play, all right? Because the second you walk up to a Costco, you have to pull out your membership card, and on the back side of those Costco membership cards, it's literally a photo ID. Like, you're not getting into this exclusive club unless you are a member.
Never cross the rope.
No, but my friends are on the inside.
Lose them.
Yeah, $2 back then is a lot, but I looked up like the price currently, so it just still like blows my mind that they can just run mostly off of memberships over merchandise. It's a little mind-boggling for my brain, but I'm sure the math will math in a bit and everything will make sense. Or maybe my brain is trying to overcomplicate it and it's really this simple. Both equal possibilities.
Watch it, I'm a leader!
Okay, so right out of the gate, you already feel exclusive. You feel like a boss walking up to the bouncer at a nightclub and he just opens up the velvet ropes for you and waves you in because you're a member. And the psychological warfare just keeps going from there, right? Because the first aisle that you walk into, by design, is the expensive electronics aisle, okay? You sitting there, you're looking at like, "Oh, shit, do I need a $4,000 TV? I probably shouldn't. Okay, I'm not going to get the TV." And then you go about your shopping and you think you did a good job, right? They did that shit on purpose because now you think to yourself, oh wow, I just saved $4,000 because I didn't buy a TV
Math,
the size
math.
of my garage door. So now you're like 10 times more likely to impulse buy something else for yourself because you feel like you just saved $4,000. So all of a sudden, that $80 purchase that you're going to splurge on doesn't feel like a big deal. And that is what
this
makes
is
the shopping fun.
psychological.
Within 3 minutes of stepping foot inside of Costco, they've already made you feel like an exclusive member of their club, and they have convinced you that this is no longer a shopping trip. This is a trip where you get to treat yourself.
3 words for you: treat, Yo, so.
And now they're about to turn the entire shopping trip into an adventure because Costco uses what they call the treasure hunt strategy, which basically means Costco is constantly moving around all of their items to different locations. So no matter how many times you go to Costco, you never know where you're going, okay? You're on a constant hunt for the milk, the eggs, the bread, and then you're running across like LED high-speed internet toasters for $80, and you're like, holy shit, I need that. And while that's going on, you've got an army of old women
The
constantly
internet
trying to give you
toasters.
samples of food.
This is not pudding.
And while that's going on, there's no lull in the action. There's never a delay in the adventure that you're having because Costco doesn't have very many items, okay? Costco, on average, has about 3,700 different items available in one of their stores compared to, like, Walmart that has over 50,000. Okay, this means there's no choices to be made, right? A normal grocery store has an entire aisle of 700 different types of salad dressing. You know what Costco has? A fucking pyramid of ranch. It looks like you're getting the ranch, huh? Keep the adventure moving. But I like having a lot of options. No, you don't. I know you think you like options, but you don't. People's actions say otherwise. Almost nobody appreciates having options. Watch this, I'll prove it to you. I'm gonna call my wife and I'm gonna very tactfully give her 0 options about where we're gonna go to lunch today. And then I'm gonna call her tomorrow and I'll edit it in and I'm gonna give her all the options in the world and we're gonna see which one she actually prefers.
Hello.
Hey, guess where I'm taking you for lunch?
Where?
Mexican restaurant.
Ooh, okay. I'll be ready in 15 minutes.
All right, love you.
Love you, bye.
See you in 24 hours.
Oh my god.
Hello.
Hey, I'm hungry. Where do you want to go for lunch?
I don't know.
You want Chinese?
No.
Oh
Mexican.
my god.
No.
It's
Burgers.
me.
No.
Italian.
Yeah, no.
All right, you figure out where you want to go and then let me know, okay?
Okay, fine.
All right, love you. Fucking science. Moral of the story, whether people know it or not, they actually hate having too many options because it makes you think, and when you have to stop and think, you have to stop, which breaks up the action, right? If you're having sex with somebody, you don't want them right in the middle of it to be like, hey, did you lock the front door? Like, I don't give a shit. Unless there's a Velociraptor that kicks down that door, I'm in the middle of something right now, okay? Let's keep doing this. And this is true for like almost everything, right? You think Ice Cube would be one of the greatest rappers of all time if right in the middle of his song, Today Was a Good Day, he stopped and gave you a fucking pop quiz on geography? No, just enjoy the song and listen to it and you're happy. So when you're shopping at Costco, this is an adventure. This is a treasure hunt and there's no thinking and there's no breaks in the action ever. You're having a blast. And if that wasn't enough, the aesthetic of the overall store is absolutely incredible. Remember going to a normal grocery store when you were a kid and your mom couldn't find something and she goes up to the employee and is like, do you have this? And they're like, no, we don't have it on the shelf. And your mom goes, she says the magic words, oh, can you go check in the back? And you're like, the fuck is, what's in the back? What's going on back there?
The back, the magical place that everyone swears we have stuff, where we swears we have extra stuff of. That's really just absolutely everything that's overstocked. So, like every girlfriend. I mean, I will say that at least every single girlfriend I have had, or even boyfriend, at least every single one of them was able to narrow it down to being around, like, to 2 or 3 options of what they would want or what they would pick from. But they would never, but outside of that, unless they, like, they really, really wanted something, they would never give me a straight answer of, oh, I really want to go here, unless they really, really wanted it. But it's like, okay, you know what? If you can just toss me 3 options and we can just pick one, and then off we go. But that's just how it was. Like, I mean, a lot of times, like, well, that's why whenever, because it's not wrong though, because even like I went grocery shopping earlier, it was like, okay, this is like, okay, let's grab this, grab this, grab this. I don't keep a lot of options, so it just keeps it simpler, and I'm okay with that.
Guess what? Costco, you're in the back, okay? I'm 99% sure that we're living in a simulation and Costco is the spawn point for all of the stuff. I mean, it's gotta be, right? Costco's got like food and clothes and electronics, you know, the common loot, but they've also got the rare shit that you can go find. So when Mrs. Fat Electrician gets sidetracked smelling 15 different types of candles, I'm going on a side quest to find something cool. What am I looking for? I have no idea. I'll know when I find it, okay? Costco's the only grocery store on the planet that you can just wander off and end up finding a signed jersey from Magic Johnson in 2024 when he retired in 1996, okay? You're just looking at it like, what is happening right now? And then you look over and you're like, oh, there's a ring that costs $340,000. And you're just looking at it in your hand like, this literally costs more than the house that I live in. I'm fucking stealing this. And you're like, no, I can't. You put it back, and now you feel like a good person, and Costco is boosting your self-esteem. So you get done shopping, and then you realize you're hungry. You have developed an appetite from adventuring for the past 2 hours, and holy shit, Costco has a food court. So you go over to the food court, and you're like, you know what? I haven't had a hot dog in 15 years. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna order a hot dog and a soda. They ring you up at the cash register. It's $1.50 for a hot dog and a soda, okay? And just to be clear, this isn't like one of the normal little bullshit.
Wait. It's actually $1.50. I thought that was just like people exaggerating about how cheap it is. It's only $1.50? What?
Hot dogs that you like give to the kids at the barbecue while all the adults are eating steaks and burgers. No, this is the fucking hot dog that she tells you not to worry about, okay? This is a fucking, you went to a baseball game and got one of those big ass novelty hot dogs, size hot dogs, and that plus a soda with free refills was $1.50. So then, because you're a good person, because you didn't steal that ring, you politely inform the cashier, I think you messed up and accidentally gave me the hot dog for free and that's just the tax. And she's like, no, it's $1.50. We haven't raised the price on the hot dog combo since 1984 when we came out with it because of the principles of the matter. Do you understand how crazy that is? 1984 was 40 years ago, okay? We've had more inflation than that house from the movie Up since then, and they've refused to raise the price, okay? Dollar Tree is now $1.25 tree, and this hot dog is still $1.50. So then you go home full and happy, but still fascinated by this $1.50 hot dog. So you decide to look into it. How is it possible? Was that actually meat inside that hot dog? What is going on here? And then you Google it and you hear the famous Costco hot dog story, okay? Apparently, the higher-ups at Costco came to the owner, Jeff Sinegal, at this point in time, Saul Price's protege, and they're like, we gotta sell this hot dog for more than $1.50. At which point, Jeff said, and I quote, if you raise the effing hot dog, I will kill you. Figure it out.
Whatever you're thinking, you better think again. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to head down there, and I will rain down on a godly fucking firestorm upon you. I am talking scorched earth, motherfucker! I will massacre you! I will fuck you up!
So that's what Costco did. They figured it out in what is probably the most gangster way possible, right? They didn't want to sacrifice the quality of the hot dogs and have just horrible hot dogs. So they're like, you know what? The only thing we can do is to build our own hot dog manufacturing facility, and one of them's not going to be enough. We're going to build two of them, one in LA and one in Chicago, and then we can control the price of hot dogs. And this figure it out attitude doesn't just stop at the hot dogs. When Costco wants something done, they get it done, okay? Here's another example. They wanted to build a new Costco in LA. And here's the problem with that. Getting anything done in the state of California, especially a major city like LA, is an absolute nightmare. California is not rated very well as far as being business friendly goes, and it just takes forever to get anything done, right? You want to put up a new building, you got to have environmental impact studies, all this other bullshit, you got to pay a bunch in fees. It's just a complete nightmare, and it's going to take 20 years for them to put up a 300,000 square foot warehouse. But they had a new rule that due to the housing crisis, they would expedite immediately any projects that had affordable housing. So Costco is in the process of building a Costco in the middle of LA that has fucking apartments on top of it, just so they can start slinging $1.50 hot dogs. In conclusion, Costco is the most gangster grocery store on the planet.
I'm sorry, what?
In conclusion, fucking apartments on top. Process of building a Costco in the middle of LA that has fucking apartments on top of it, just so they can start slinging $1.50 hot dogs. In conclusion, Costco is the most gangster grocery store on the planet. Their slogans are do the right thing and more is more, and that about covers it. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch over at thefatelectrician.com, and from now until August 30th, every single item purchased out of my merch store, whether it's a sticker or a hoodie or a shirt or a beer koozie is going to get you one entry to win a custom Steelhead Outdoors Fat Electrician gun cabinet. And second place is going to get a custom Steelhead Outdoors Fat Electrician pistol box. And third place is going to get a big care package from Wiley X, my favorite glasses company. So yeah, go buy some merch. Thank you for watching. Quack Bang out.
That is insane. That's absolutely insane. That was not a rabbit hole I was ready for. You would have disguises to get different samples in Costco. I mean, I feel like I would do something similar if I had the option. But, you know, Costco needs cheap hot dogs built in apartment buildings because reasons. I mean, I don't think that's a terrible idea. I mean, there's plenty of bars that have apartments above them. So. I'm actually really happy I was convinced to watch this video because I would not have watched this video of my own accord, to say the least. And I guess I learned a little bit more about Costco. And I guess I kind of understand why so many people love the store, but no! 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 You're not- Don't do that! That's terrible! That's absolutely terrible. Alright, what else do we got here on the list? Oh, actually, we're gonna grab this one. That was suggested in Discord. I think it was last night? Costco construction uses hot dogs as concrete wood. Alright. But before we do that though, before I do the one that was posted in Discord yesterday, we're gonna do this one. This seems really short. But still gonna watch it anyway. The Marines outsmart DARPA's advanced AI. Like, I have no idea what this is about whatsoever. But I'm hoping this is hilarious. I'm hoping anyway.
By popular demand after this tweet went viral on the internet, today we're talking about that time that 8 Marines went toe-to-toe against DARPA's artificial intelligence in an epic battle of wits and won.
Inconceivable.
Okay, so here's the deal. That tweet is a picture of half a page from a book that hasn't even come out yet. That book is For Battlegrounds by Paul Scher, and it comes out next month, February 2023. And I actually reached out and got a hold of Paul to get the whole story, and here's what I found out. Once upon a time in 2019, DARPA had a program known as Squad X. The overall goal of this program was to be able to integrate an autonomous AI with an...
No, the one, this was suggested in the YouTube comments the other day. The other one that we're doing is, what is it? Because I know he's suggested a few, but... Excuse me for a moment. My server is being screwed up. Hey, hey, Queen. Halting all invites. People are fucking disgusting. No, I have trouble in Discord. Purge. I can't believe I'm about to fucking do this. Hey, Kami. You still around? Could I have Sal's assistance in cleaning up Discord? Um, yeah. I gave you admin terms. Why can't people let nice things happen? Why can't people just not be twats? Like, why? Yeah, don't look. It's disgusting. Thankfully, I know most. Yeah, like people are freaking disgusting. People are just trash. Security actions. So how is everybody else's day going? Hey, thank you, Alex. Sorry, we're having a little bit of a detour right now because people are just unfortunately being in streamer mode, it's kind of limiting. I'm glad your day's going well. I just wish I knew where all these, I'm assuming they're sussed or banned or fished accounts, I should say. But I don't understand why people do that. Like, it's so fucking stupid. Maybe this is hand I'm thinking of. That's purge count. What's the command? I can't remember the command I just used. That'd be great. Purge any and I do apologize to anyone who had anything posted that they was hoping would stick around, but some messages are probably gonna caught in the crossfire. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. I think it's good. I think we're good. Since all the invites are frozen now. So. Jesus fucking Christ. First time for everything. Yeah, you can get a deneuralizer from Men in Black. That's allowed, yeah. I will allow it for this occasion because honestly, I think whoever saw that needs it too. So, Texan Dynamite, some questionable individual, I don't know where they came from, decided to go post a bunch of NSFW stuff in the server. So I was dealing with that for the moment. So, yeah. Had to go clean that mess up because I don't want to get any freaking hot water with Discord and stuff, with being like a community server and shit. So, if you didn't see it, consider yourself lucky. Because, holy. No, it's alright, Dynamite. It's alright. It's been cleaned up. Alright, no. I'm gonna pull this. Yeah. Yeah. It was bold. So, I'm gonna go pull this back to the start because I don't remember anything from what I was just watching.
By popular demand after this tweet went viral on the internet, today we're talking about that time that 8 Marines went toe-to-toe against DARPA's artificial intelligence in an epic battle of wits and won.
Inconceivable.
Okay, so here's the deal. That tweet is a picture of half a page from a book that hasn't even come out yet. That book is For Battlegrounds by Paul Scher, and it comes out next month, February 2023. And I actually reached out and got a hold of Paul to get the whole story, and here's what I found out. Once upon a time in 2019, DARPA had a program known as Squad X. The overall goal of this program was to be able to integrate an autonomous AI with an infantry unit, RoboGrunt. They wanted to make RoboGrunt. Basically, they were going to take an artificial intelligence, shove it inside of a flying drone or a little car drone or inside of a robot dog, and it was going to follow the grunts out into battle and act as an early warning system.
Alright.
Using cameras and sensors, it would be able to identify enemies from way further out than a human ever could. Not a terrible idea. So DARPA got to work, they built the robots, they built the AI, but then they actually had to train the AI how to identify people. And apparently the best way to do this was by just actually doing it. So they brought in 8 Marines for a week to help train this artificial intelligence. And for the first 6 days, it went great. Basically, the AI just watched the Marines walk around and do things a human would do, while the computer engineers helped teach the algorithm what it was looking at. But then on the 7th day, DARPA would make a classic tactical error by challenging the Marines. Apparently, with only 6 days of training, they wanted to see how well their artificial intelligence would stack up against the Marine Corps' 100% organic cran-fed fuckery. I'm gonna give you a hint, it didn't go well. The challenge was they were going to set the robot up out in the open, and the Marines had to start from like 1,000 yards away, and they had to sneak up on the robot and touch it without ever being identified as a human. As soon as they said go, the first 2 Marines took off doing somersaults for the entire 1,000 yards. They made it all the way to the robot completely unidentified. And I can only assume that it is at this point that the computer engineers realized that they were going to have a bad day, because it only got more ridiculous from there. Another Marine went out in the woods, stripped all the branches off of a fir tree, dressed himself up like a tree, and then slowly, and I quote, walked like a fir tree all the way to the robot. And then my personal favorite example, 2 Marines found a large box and then proceeded to do the old Metal Gear Solid trick where they use the Amazon Prime print camouflage to sneak all the way up to the robot and touch it.
Oh my god.
According to the author, you could actually hear them audibly giggling from inside the box the entire time. And this raises one very important question. How mad were these engineers? So I asked the author.
Well, in this case, I mean, it's a DARPA project, so it's just experimental, and they're trying to push the bounds. I don't know, I can't speak to the engineers. I mean, they might not have appreciated it. Maybe they did appreciate someone highlighting these problems. The program manager who relayed the anecdote to me was really pleased because they learned something. Right, they learned about the limitations of the system, and you'd really much rather find that out in a training environment than when you do it overseas in a war zone and the enemy does it. But you know, it's good that they found it out early rather than before they'd invested hundreds of millions of dollars into this.
Okay, fine. Well, if he's not going to speak for the engineers, that leaves it open to my interpretation, and I think it went something like this.
I hate them.
In conclusion, I think the big takeaway from this story is that artificial intelligence is nowhere near ready to go toe-to-toe with the American grunt on the battlefield. Because regardless of how smart it is or how smart it gets, it's never going to be able to figure out what the grunts are doing until they're already doing it. Because the grunts don't know what they're doing until they're doing it. And you can't be 3 steps ahead of somebody that never knows where they're going. Because at the end of the day, historically speaking, the American military's only ever had one plan, and that's to show up and improvise. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang out.
That was solid. I really liked that. I just wish it was a little longer. It's the only thing. I know you can only make so much stuff, so. Yeah, that entire thing just threw me completely off my groove. Like, what the hell? Me all thrown off right now. I hate it. Cardboard's the ultimate. Cardboard box, the ultimate technology. Yeah, I agree with that. I completely would agree with that. Is improvise. I mean, honestly, the Canadians scare me more. Honestly. Because when Canada gets involved, then we have then we get the Geneva suggestions. But you don't like calling them Geneva suggestions, but generally I've noticed when Canada gets involved, they do something, and then we have more rules that are added. It just seems to be a bit of a track record they have. Okay, but as for the video I was saying that we were doing, also that was suggested in Discord, it was actually the one you suggested, Minnow, that you posted in Discord. The dumb things about or things I found stupid in school or about school. Candace, the Geneva checklist. Okay. You know what? I'll let you have that one. Geneva checklist, I'll let you have that. Just trying to get back in the groove after the entire mess. Apparently we can't have good things. Yeah. That one. Grade A under A. I mean, I found a lot of things stupid about school, but I'm sure we're all gonna find some overlappings with that stuff. So.
Now listen, it's been a while since I've been to school, but this is some of the stuff that I remember being stupid about school. Don't know much about history. Setting word limits is stupid. An essay is only as good as it is concise, right? So if I've concisely made my point in like 2,000 words, why are you going to force me to write 3,000 words of shit? Okay, listen, here's an assignment for everyone watching this video, right? In a maximum of 20 words, tell me what carpet is.
In a maximum of 20 words?
Alright, I said, carpet is a soft material usually laid on floors of houses to offer a soft surface on which to walk. Very easy, right? Now do the same, but write 200 words. Like, you get to the point where you don't know what to write. Right, if I had to, I'd say something like, my grandma's carpet is really ugly. Carpet slowly gets darker as time goes by, but you don't realise it until you see the carpet underneath the sofa or the bed.
Word limits were
and
so
it's like really
stupid.
soft and a little bit lighter. Lesbians munch it. You see? This is garbage. Say I'm in the park and I decide to play a game of pick-up basketball, right? Say I make a team and it's got LeBron James, Stephen Curry, James Harden and Anthony Davis. This is a pretty good team, isn't it? But if I forced you to have 6 players, the team becomes this. Do you see how by adding this extra, it's become shitter? If I've made my point, let me finish my essay and hand it in. Don't set word limits. Don't know much
You know, that just makes me have a very big appreciation for my English teacher I had in high school, because at one point, because she was just like, you know, I know you're good at writing, and I know you like to get short and to the point. So you can ignore the word limit. You can ignore it. But if it's bad and you're not the word limit, we're gonna have a problem. And I'm just like, okay, and I'm just nodding my head along. I miss her. I hope she's doing well.
Some of the shit you learn, for example, from our schooling, I know that the Great Fire of London was in 1666, and I also know that the reason that leaves are green is because of a thing called chlorophyll. Why the fuck do I know this? It's never gonna help me. But while I do know that, I don't know a fucking thing about how I would do my taxes if I decided to start my own business or how to go about getting a mortgage. Haven't got a fucking clue. However, what I do know is the main news headline from London 350 fucking years ago, and I've got this fucking pot I made in art class.
Oh my god.
I'm sure everyone's experienced this, as I have. You can have some shit, lazy teacher who always teaches in one boring, shit, monotonous way, but whenever there's a guest at the back of the room observing him, he completely changes. There's
My
more
physics
activities
teacher.
that he normally never does. There's group activities, there's mini assessments, there's everything. He even talks different. All right, you little bastards, everyone get out your textbooks and turn to page 69. Okay, class, listen. Today we're going to learn about 3D shapes. So, we're all going to Egypt to learn about pyramids. Yay! This used to happen when I was a kid, and I didn't really appreciate it. But I've been working in a school for the past year, so I'm privy to this information, right? So let me fill you in. Standard teaching practice in some countries is that you get external governing bodies like Ofsted that come in to observe how teachers are doing and to basically assess teachers and tell them, oh, you're good, you're outstanding, or you're shit, right? But the dumb part is they tell you in advance, like, oh, listen, we'll be checking you out on Tuesday, period 4. And because the teacher knows they'll be being observed, they'll go out of their way to make a crazy good lesson. But when they're not being observed, they have some dog shit lesson. So you'll get some teachers that are crap, but because they're told, oh, we're going to check you out on Tuesday at 7 o'clock, they'll go out of their way and spend literally, some people have told me, 4 hours planning the fucking lesson, whereas they'll spend about 10 minutes on the other ones. This alone makes monitoring teachers so fucking dumb. If you actually want to monitor teachers, right, fucking surprise them. Don't know much about the French I took. This one never made any fucking sense to me, yeah? You're in class and you've done something a little bit stupid, right? The teacher asks you, what do you think you're doing? What'd you do that for? And you say, Johnny told me to do it, which is not a good reason, right? Then the teacher says, if Johnny told you to jump off a cliff or shove a cactus up your ass, would you do that as well, grade? What? No, obviously not, you smart ass. Do you not see that a line's been crossed in going from throwing a paper aeroplane across the classroom and leaping to my death? Another reply that never made sense to me was, oi sir, can I go to the toilet? Shut up and do your work, grade. You should have gone at break time. What do you mean I should have gone at break time? I'm asking you to go for a piss now. Break was like an hour ago. If I had to go for a piss at break time, I would have gone for a piss at break time. Who do you think I am? I don't just control my bodily functions. And also, piss off, teacher. You're like 40 years old and you fat bastard, you've got a gut that you're resting on the table. You've probably been constipated at least once in your life before. In the same way that you couldn't go for a shit whenever you wanted, I can't go for a piss whenever I want. Okay, fair enough. Well, I can go for a piss whenever I want. But to say that I should have gone for a piss in break time is not a valid solution. Right, so what is he saying? Is he saying that everyone in school should go for a piss at break time? That would be fucking mayhem. So to avoid that from becoming the norm, let me just go for a fucking piss, mate. Shut up, Greg. I said you should have gone at break. Alright, do you know what? Fine. Teacher, you're right. I should have gone for a piss in break time. How careless of me. I'm just going to stay sat in my seat and I'm going to try and focus on my work whilst I'm busting for a piss. And let's see how well this goes. Watch.
Oh my god.
Look, arsehole. Look at this. I've gone and pissed myself. Is this what you wanted, is it? Dickhead. What if I needed to go for a shit? What if I had Indian food the night before? Huh? Oh, I never did this, but some kids apparently say they need to go to the toilet just so they can leave the class for a bit, right? But that's not a reason to not let them go. I get that it's the case of the boy who cried wolf, right? But when the consequences of them not crying wolf involve someone potentially shitting themselves, they can cry wolf all they want.
This reminds me of a time when I was in middle school. And middle school, 6th grade, I got sick a lot that year. I don't remember what was going on, but I kept on getting sick. And the school eventually was like, "Hey, look, you can't stay home any more days, or you'll have to repeat the grade." And my folks were like, "Okay, we'll send her to school." And I think I got through maybe 2 bells, and I was like, "Hey, I'm not feeling well. Can I go to the nurse's office or whatever?" And this teacher didn't even look at me, and he's just like, "No." I kid you not, 30 seconds later, projectile vomit flew all over his desk. And he looked at me so fucking mad, and I just looked at him like, I tried to leave. You told me I couldn't go to the nurses. Like, what do you want me to do at that point? Like, I tried to tell you. And it's so fucking stupid. Oh yeah. It got all over his desk. All over his desk, part of it got on the floor. It was nasty, but honestly at the time it felt really glorifying, because it's like, you bastard, you wouldn't let me leave. You wouldn't let me go to the nurse's office. You didn't believe me, and here are the consequences of your actions. Sorry, not sorry. He did not give me a hard time for like 2 months after that. Jesus Christ.
And also, might I add, more often than just occasionally, the toilets are blocked from some arsehole shoving rolls and rolls of toilet paper down there, so your solution's even worse.
Old miserable teachers.
Some of the teachers that work at schools, like fucking hell. We used to have this one geography teacher, Mr. Rando, and he was some 60-year-old overly strict, miserable old bastard. He hates coming to work, so he hates it himself, and then as a result, we, the kids, hate it because he's such a miserable old twat. And it's like, for fuck's sake, what are you here for? You're miserable doing this job, and as a result, you're making it shit for us. Just fuck off, man. Either fuck off, quit, retire, or get fired, man. Oi, head teacher, listen, what are you playing at? Do you owe this guy a favour or something? Can you fire him already? I'm telling you, a good teacher completely changes your perception of a subject. Give me a teacher that will make me want to pay attention. I'll be like 12 years old and the PE teachers are so strict, shouting at us like some army sergeant dropout wannabes. Can't control men, so you decide to... Like, you're throwing your weight about with children, man. Some of the stuff they make you do is like, come on, you don't want to do rugby, do ya? Little 75-pound child. You better have a permission slip to not do rugby. Indeed I do. Not bad. The amount of times that I forged my dad's signature, I became better at it than my dad. And when I was in school, some of the kids were like twice my size. So no, mate, I'm not gonna play fucking rugby, because I'm gonna get murdered. I don't claim to be an A student. Some of the rules that we used to have in our PE class back in the days, we used to have a rule where if you forget your PE kit, the teacher would say, "Oh, have you not got your PE kit, have you? Go in the storeroom and get a change of kit." You go in the storeroom and it looks like this, and it's the most disgusting place you've ever been, right? And they expect me to wear a pair of shorts and shirt from this disease-ridden, nasty shit pile. Oh, why do I have to wear this shit? No, man, I'd much rather get a bit sweaty than catch whatever diseases are floating around in the stale air in that room. Have some mercy. But I'm trying to...
Oh my god,
and whilst we're on the topic of PE, some of the scheduling that we used to have was fucking stupid. Like, why are we playing badminton indoors in the summer and doing cross-country running in fucking winter? Idiot. Like, whose idea was this? Who timetabled this shit? Oh, of course. For maybe by being an A student, baby, I
Oh my god.
Sorry, can I just tack on a quick little message? Right, Dumper.nl, can you stop stealing my fucking videos, mate? Bit fucked up, isn't it? How about you stop that, you dickhead?
Dude, what the fuck am I doing with my live studios? Oh my god. That's great. What the fuck am I doing with my life? I don't know. I had never watched any of Grade A Under A's videos until now, so definitely was a fun little watch. You know what? We're gonna take a look at what he got. We're gonna take a look. So I don't really do political stuff. So while wanting to, well, yes, there's a roast of Kamala. I don't like to get into politics. So. So that's a whole shitstorm I don't like dealing with. What do you got? Why animal names are stupid. Stupidest names on earth, normal, celebrity, and YouTube names. You know what? I like the names ones. I like this. We're gonna do this one.
Naming your kid is perhaps the most important decision you'll ever make when it comes to naming something. And you have to take that decision fucking seriously. You can't just fuck around and call your kid something stupid like Pirate or Banjo or Kid or something like that, right? You need to make sure you give your kid a nice name. Because if you don't, what's going to happen?
He's gonna get... I didn't get just read all the options. How dare you?
Because if you don't, what's going to happen?
He's gonna get bullied. He's gonna get bullied. He's gonna get bullied. Oh my god.
Exactly. Your kids are gonna get bullied. So to help you to be a good parent and to make sure your kids don't get bullied, all because you gave them a shit name, I present to you...
Thank you so much for the follow boost of the galaxy.
Guide to not giving your kids a shit name. Right, so to help me out with this exercise, I've gone and found a local school bully, and he's going to help me out with this. Is that all right, mate? Yeah, mate. Right, so as an example to show you what I mean, for God's sake, man, do not call your kid Ray. Right, gay? You see what I'm saying? Other names that you can no longer use anymore include Patrick, you're right, fat dick, Matt, right, twat, and Dick. Why would you call your kid Dick? It's literally a fucking insult. You don't even have to do anything to turn your kid's name into a rude word because it's already a rude word. You wouldn't call your son Bastard, would you? Exactly. So why would you call him Dick? By the way, right, in case you didn't know this, the name Dick is a shortened version of the name Richard.
How the fuck?
What? How? How the fuck does Richard go to Dick? The name Christopher gets shortened to Chris. Right, piss? The name Matthew gets shortened to Matt. You're right, twat. But how the fuck does the name Richard get shortened to Dick? They don't even start with the same letter. If you have a kid called Richard and you want to shorten his name, why didn't you call him Rich? Right, bitch. All right, fair enough. But I'd much rather be called Rich than be called Dick. To be called Rich is actually a good thing. And while Rich is a good thing, Dick isn't. I don't know, Grade. I'd have to disagree with you there. Fuck off, Nicole.
Oh, Jesus.
Now listen, I'm going to say this just very quickly, and I'm not going to stay on this point for too long, because I know some people are going to start crying, oh my God, Grade, you're a racist. But I need to point this out, all right? You can't always do this, but if you can, try and make sure your kid's name doesn't mean something rude in a country that you might end up living in. For example, right, when I was in uni, no bullshit, there was a kid studying there whose name and picture we saw on a bulletin board called Cock Chewy.
Oh.
Cock Chewy. I don't give a fuck how politically correct you are and how overly sensitive you are to this kind of stuff, right? But this is undeniable. That's a fucking unfortunate name. Chewy Cock.
Oh, jeez.
And for fuck's sake, man, don't name your kid Gay. That's literally a name. Gay. Like, come on, man. You might think, fuck off, Grade. I've never seen anyone called Gay. I went on IMDb and had a quick search, right? Look at all the gays I found in the movie industry.
Oh, my
And look at
lord.
this. Gay McDonald. That's what you call a homosexual restaurant. You don't call your kid that.
Oh,
Now listen,
jeez.
right, all of the rules that I've said so far, pretty fucking obvious, do you know what I mean? But there's one group of people who either don't know or don't give a fuck about any of these rules, right? And that group of people is celebrities.
Yeah.
For some reason, right, celebrities have a habit of giving their kids some of the fucking dumbest, absolute shittest names I've ever heard. Do you remember at the start of the video when I said you can't just call your kid some dumb shit like pirate or banjo or kid, right? Well, some celebrities already have.
Oh
The
my
lead singer of the
God.
band Korn called his kid Pirate, Rachel Griffiths called her kid Banjo, and David Duchovny actually called his kid Kid. Why do you bastards hate your kids that fucking much? And if you think these are bad, right? These are fucking nothing. Magician Penn Jillette
Oh my
called his
God.
kid Moxie Crimefire. Sylvester
Jesus
Stallone
fuck.
called his kid Sage Moonblood.
Oh
Evil
my-
Jared Hasselhoff of the Bloodhound Gang called his son Foxtrot Uniform Charlie Kilo.
Oh my. I can't. I can't. That is so fucking stupid. So goddamn stupid. I cannot. Foxtrot Uniform Charlie Kilo. Why would you name your kid that? Why would you name your kid Fuck? Why? It's so fucking stupid.
And Frank
Anyway.
Zappa called two of his kids Moon Unit and Diva Thin Muffin.
Oh my
What
God.
the fuck are these names? You are fucking horrible people and you're horrible parents. How does someone come up with names that fucking random? Oh my God, look how cute he is. What should we call him? 1 second. Romantic. Cunnilingus.
Ugh.
Discharge. And fuck it, right? When random words aren't random enough, just make up words and mix them in with the other random words you've already picked out. Gwen Stefani did just that and called her kid Zuma Nestor Rock, and Paula Yates called her kid, listen, Heavenly Hirani Tiger Lily.
Oh my God.
What? What the
Whoa,
fuck?
wait, what was that? What was that? Next child, elevator, Flocks and Hoaxy Borneo Kush. Jesus fuck.
What? What the fuck?
The actual worst celebrity
Listen, in a
names.
sense, right, I can kind of see where the parents are coming from. For example, Heavenly Hirani Tiger Lily, whilst they do sound stupid, they still sound name-ish. Do you know what I mean? It sounds kind of hippie-ish and spiritual. But some celebrities give their kids names that legit just sound fucking stupid. Shannon Sossamon called her kid fucking Audio Science. Jason Lee not only called his kid Pilot Inspector, but he spelt it wrong. And maybe worst of all, actor Rob Morrow called his kid Two, making the kid's name Tomorrow.
Oh my God.
What the fuck is wrong with you, Rob? You absolute retard. With a name like that, you might as well go to your son's school and force all the kids to bully him.
The worst
But
name of
listen,
them all.
everything you've heard up until now is nothing, right? The worst naming that I've ever seen belongs to a channel right here on YouTube, and they honestly have the fucking stupidest, shittest names given to the people you see in the video I've ever seen in my fucking life. I swear to God. And that channel is... me!
Oh my god. Tomorrow's the ultimate Jad joke union is a great name. Yeah. I will say, I don't even know how the heck you pronounce Musk's kid's name. Like, I don't even know how the heck you even pronounce that. Nor am I particularly interested in finding out how it's pronounced. Because I just... Ugh, that's just a lot. Alright. I think... Where did that video go? Where did it go? Alright. Where'd my list go? That's what I'm looking for. Is it over here? Alrighty. So, some of you may remember that I mentioned the other day that I don't know anything about honey badgers. So today, we are remedying this. And we're gonna learn about honey badgers and why they are fearless. Because I don't understand. I don't know anything about honey badgers, so I don't know why these are supposedly really freaking fearless creatures or anything of the like. So I'm gonna be doing some learning today. We're gonna do some educating. We're gonna learn a little bit about honey badgers. Yeah. So I have heard, but I guess I'm gonna hear now about how much they don't give a dang.
Honey badgers are the most disrespectful force in nature, and that's putting them over orcas. Cause at least when an orca shot puts a seal, you can argue it's just testing a new hunting strategy. But honey badgers will look for negativity in situations where they have nothing to gain. Why would a honey badger test an oryx 10 times its size, get launched only to immediately do it again? Cause honey badgers come into the world deciding they don't want peace, they want problems. They don't want compromise, they seek conflict. If orcas are homicidal sea Oreos, then honey badgers are double stuffed with audacity. If I ever make a list,
Double stuffed with the audacity. Alright. I'm liking the sound of this already. Honey badgers are like geese temper-wise. Okay.
list of the top 5 animals with black Air Force energy, honey badgers would be a first ballot choice. But like any kid that acts out in school, to really understand just what makes a honey badger such a one-man hate campaign, you gotta look at its family. When you talk about mammalian carnivores, you can really simplify it into 2 classes, Team Cat and Team Dog. Team Cat would be feliform, which translates to cat-like carnivores, which would obviously include wild cats, but also cats that aren't really cats like hyenas, mongooses like the meerkat, and a bunch of other animals you've probably never heard of. On the other side is Caniformia, which are the dog-like carnivores. This includes dogs, wild, unhinged dogs, dogs on steroids, smaller but more street-smart dogs, and a special group of water dogs that decided they had enough of the nonsense and disrespect of the dirt world and were going to take their chances out in the ocean. Results have been varied. But you also have another family known as the Mustelidae squad, and they were kind of in a weird spot. They weren't the biggest, definitely weren't the fastest, not the smartest, And for the most part, they're solitary, meaning they rarely have a numbers advantage. So their only real option was to overcompensate the way anyone that overmatched would, with violence and borderline crackhead courage. If mustelids like honey badgers ran in groups, they probably wouldn't need the personality of a power tool to survive. Because gang violence may be unethical, but in the wild, it's a way of life. It's the reason African wild dogs are one of the most efficient groups at canceling life subscriptions. Because team play is high-key underrated. Ants are probably the best eusocial insects in the game, and it's almost scary how well they work together. Led by a queen who can almost check in at the same weight class as a mouse, ant society is built on a hierarchy where everyone has a job. Female ants are workers who can have tasks such as cleaning the eggs and feeding the larvae. Queen ant's job is to supply the ant census with new bodies by constantly spawning eggs, and some species can spit out over 800 in one day. Male ants have one job, and it's to supply the queen with baby batter and then exit the census once they fulfill that purpose. They have no rights, no free will, they're basically walking ejac packets. And if you ever wanted to know just what ant society is like, the Ants Underground Kingdom is a simulation strategy game with millions of players already online. You can hatch and develop your own ant army, including rare ones like the Banshee ant, which is based on an actual insect that isn't really an ant, it's a type of wasp. You can also unlock new buildings like toxic fungi, gorgeous pearl, special nests, and more. Now here's the fun part. The ant armada includes guardian ants, shooter ants, and carrier ants. Plus you can call on reinforcements in the form of scorpions and spiders. It's like Game of Thrones, but with ants. PvE wise, you can run fades with jumping spiders, giant mantises, and more. You can choose what alliances you want to join and then make friends with players from all around the world. And mercilessly backstab them at every turn because there's no church in the wild and hell is not a consequence. Make sure you download the Ants Underground Kingdom. And use the redemption code to cash in on a bunch of benefits the game is offering just in time for the holidays to make sure your army is the strongest one. But if you're a honey badger, the strongest army is always an army of one. Honey badgers could be the mascots of Miralax because they don't ever give them, they just take them. And when I say it runs in a family, you can tell the honey badger took something from all of their cousins and made it theirs. We're gonna get to those cousins, don't worry.
Oh my God,
but first we gotta talk about what makes honey badgers such a middle finger to the natural order. First is the fact that they're not indestructible, but damn it, they're pretty close. Honey badger skin is tough and resilient, able to withstand bee stings, snake bites, and brutal maulings that would certainly be a game over for other animals. You can even come at a honey badger with a machete and it could still probably Eurostep any serious injury. There's even reports of these steroid skunks taking down African crested porcupines. The same ones that have about 30,000 good reasons why testing them could be really bad for your health. In really rare occasions, porcupines have crippled the top tier lions so badly that hunting humans was their only option. In 1965, after a lion nicknamed the Man-Eater of Darajani was finally put out of commission, it was discovered that it had been gored by a blade beaver, with one of the quills being lodged in its fractured teeth and another one nearly piercing its brain. Maimed and out of options, a starving lion put at least one Kenyan on a t-shirt. That's the kind of carnage porcupines are capable of, yet honey badgers can often survive an encounter with one thanks to their tough skin. The same reason they can square up with snakes and then live to try again. Honey badgers are menaces that have been known to turn deadly serpents like the puff adder and even the black mamba into a purse. Common misconception though is that honey badgers are immune to snake venom. They're not immune, they're much more resistant than other animals, but enough penetrating bites can flatline even a honey badger. But usually if a honey badger is wounded by a venomous snake, it'll just pass out in an almost coma-like state, only to get up a few hours later and walk it off like a Sunday morning hangover. Another fact is that not only is honey badger skin tough, it's incredibly loose, especially around the neck. So if one's ever being mauled by a big cat, this walking cigar can turn around while being attacked and deliver smoke directly to the face. Honey badgers are furry Duracells, and anything short of a round directly to the skull isn't guaranteed to kill them. This durability is why honey badgers are either brave enough or stupid enough to blatantly steal from top predators, and they usually target leopards. Unlike lions and hyenas, leopards are solitary assassins that hide their prizes high up in the branches where they can't get their pockets picked. The food may be safe from lions, but they're not safe from a malicious equality symbol with nothing to lose. Honey badgers will risk it all by attempting to steal from a leopard by climbing a tree once it steps away from its meal. If the honey badger gets caught in the act, it'll throw a loud temper tantrum, hissing and screaming as it backs away. A method I'm sure they got from their close cousin the wolverine. The wolverine is a honey badger on PEDs, built for the freezing tundra of the north. And even though they're roughly in the same weight class as a medium-sized dog, tankier predators like bears and mountain lions will occasionally pay food tax to this walking by check. But the thing with wolverines is they have the strength and speed to catch their own bodies. Wolverines will stalk a potential victim for hours, even days, and there have been reports of wolverines posting up in trees just so they can wait for the right moment to pounce. But why waste the energy or calories doing that when you can just pickpocket a grizzly or clutch a 2v1 versus wolves? And just like the honey badger, wolverines will attack anything with a pulse. Difference is they have the tools to actually stop it. One wolverine put a polar bear in a headline after clamping its vice grip jaws around the struggling bear's throat until it suffocated.
I just want to pet
There
the
have even
wolverine.
been
It
reports
looks
of a
so
wolverine
cute.
dropping a female moose by ripping at its shoulder blades until it eventually tapped out. In comparison, honey badgers have allegedly KO'd units like the Cape Buffalo and water buck. Except the honey badger's methods are different. Wolverines are little man syndrome but with bear trap jaws. Even though they might not have superhuman healing powers, they do have rotated teeth. Wolverines are equipped with upper molars rotated 90 degrees inward, meaning they can easily eat a grizzly bear's leftovers even if it's half frozen.
Exactly.
That
If
dental
not
plan is
friend,
why a
wife,
Wolverine
not
will
wife,
eat every
friend
part of an
shit.
animal right down to the bones. Honey badgers don't have nearly that kind of power, but these prison striped weasels do pack a nasty bite and they've been seen tearing into tortoises. Wolverines have one more secret, and it's that they smell really, really foul. Not only will they use the power of liquid booty as a threat, they'll spray the scent over any food they find to make sure no one else touches it. Which is why the Wolverine is also nicknamed the skunk bear. Honey badgers also weaponize their
Interesting.
south side. When threatened or just annoyed, the honey badger will reverse its anus inside out and release a liquid so vile it can suffocate anything near it. In fact, the smell is so offensive it can temporarily paralyze attacking bees. It's not hard to see how the skunk bear and the felony ferret pull up to the same family reunion.
Jesus.
But you can RSVP the otter to the same function. Otters are considered the most intelligent of all mustelids, and they're a part of the rare
Otters? Really? I know otters are pretty intelligent, but I was not expecting to hear all about otters in a honey badger video. I'm a little terrified. Let's see.
group of animals that are able to create and use tools. This one's using a vending machine. In fact, they're so smart that in the 60s, the CIA allegedly tried to weaponize them. I actually made a video on this in an auto report that was created on my TikTok, so definitely go check that out. They're also an anomaly in that they're one of the rare social mustelids, which should give you mixed feelings. Cause yes, sea otters will hold hands while sleeping so they don't float away. Despite my lack of emotion, I find that adorable. But otters, especially river otters, will jump anything that enters their territory, from caiman to jaguars to idiots with iPhones. If you want your idea of otters to be completely slaughtered in 10 seconds, Google otter and attack and count how many articles you get. A pack of 20 nearly took a man off the Singapore census permanently. A group of rogue otters drowned a woman's beloved dog as she could only watch. Once upon a time, a monkey wandered into the otter hood of the Bronx Zoo, and the outnumbered monkey paid the toll for his transgressions with his soul. That's really only scratching the surface.
Terrifying.
I already have an entire video dedicated to the carnage society lets otters get away with, but one fact should really hammer the point home. Sea otters have a violent mating ritual that involves biting his partner's nose pad so hard that he can tear it off while occasionally holding her head underwater. That is not the disturbing part, because frustrated male otters that couldn't find a mate will resort to taking their lack of options out on baby seals. Something they'll continue to do for up to a week even after the seal's soul has already evacuated. I mean that in the worst possible way. So in a weird twist, out of these three, otters might have the lowest morality, but to compensate they have the highest intelligence. Don't think honey badgers are just some crayon eaters.
That's so sad. Nature's fucked up. What the actual... Like, it's not my first time hearing that about otters, but like, holy... That's just... This makes me sad. Especially hearing about baby seals, like, no. No. Makes me so sad. Unless I love seals, I love otters. That just kind of makes me sad hearing about that. Like, I know nature doesn't have the same, like, morals or ethics that some of us have. But that just makes me sad. Poor seals.
They're incredibly smart too, like the kind of smart that would make them high-class criminals. In an experiment, a honey badger couldn't reach a box of food that was hanging from a branch of a tree. But what would have been a dead end for most animals was only a challenge for him. After a few seconds to carefully weigh his options, the honey badger proceeded to push his crate closer to the hanging box to the point where he could stand on it to claim his prize. It might not seem like much, but being able to figure this out automatically puts honey badgers in the highest percentile when it comes to animal intelligence. But the best example would be this little guy named Stoffel. Stoffel was a well-known escape artist that would find some of the most creative ways to end his bondage. In one of his many escapes, Stoffel noticed a broom that had been left near him, dragged it over to one of the corners of his enclosure, leaned it against the wall, and then used it to emancipate himself.
Smart fella.
They tested his skills with a gate, and Stoffel the Black Air Force managed to undo the latches of the lock. They then put him in a cell surrounded by cement walls. Take a wild guess what this little weasel did. Stoffel dug up a bunch of rocks, and when he had enough, he piled them in a corner and Andy Dufresne himself. One night, his caretaker awoke to a burglar in his home at 1 a.m. You know where I'm going with this. Stoffel escaped again, only this time he broke into the farmer's house and even tried to get into his bedroom. And you want to know the most disrespectful part of it all? Stoffel was hand-raised by humans at a young age and imprinted on them. Meaning Stoffel had no intention of actually escaping. Nah, he was just doing it for the sport and for all the memes. We know that because Stoffel would allow himself to be caught and returned back to his enclosure just so he could figure out another way to make his caretakers earn their pay. Breaking into the farmer's house past midnight was just grade A trolling. And of course, it would be criminal to not mention that time Stoffel escaped his enclosure and entered the lion's den where he was nearly brutally mauled to death. After he recovered, the first thing Stoffel did fresh out was try to find a way back to the lions to settle the score. Stoffel would also regularly break into the lodge kitchen where he would harass staff and help himself to any food he could find. They eventually gave him a lady badger thinking that would help him calm down. What they really did was introduce the Bonnie to his Clyde as they would now try to escape together. For their size, honey badgers have relatively large brains and they make it everyone's problem. But there's one more thing about them that really makes them a menace to society, and for that you have to look at its third cousin, the stoat. The stoat is one of the smallest of all muscelids.
I fucking love stoats. They're so fucking adorable. I mean, he's so friend-shaped. I just want to go over there and I just want to pet him and I just want to pick him up. So adorable. Dangerous, but adorable.
Yet they regularly put prey 10 times their size out of commission. They do this by relentlessly chasing their prey, which are usually rabbits, until the prey eventually drops to exhaustion. Only then will the stoat deliver a devastating bite to the back of the skull. And once a stoat locks in on its target, there isn't a force in nature that can stop it. The stoat is so hyper-fixated that it'll even ignore rabbits that might be closer just so they can commit to pursuing its original target. That crackhead determination is not foreign to the honey badger. The only way a honey badger can fend off leopards, hyenas, and even the occasional lion is by constantly squirming, hissing, and biting until the attacker eventually decides it's not worth the calories. Even if they eventually do go out of commission, you can be sure the honey badger did not go quietly. The badger's stubborn nature is probably best summed up when you see what they do for honey. Honey badgers love breaking into beehives to eat energy-rich honeycombs. Unfortunately, that often means getting a face full of African bees, which are more aggressive and more nasty than their European cousins. But these honey weasels will continue to eat even while being actively swarmed and attacked by bees. And even though they're resistant, they're not 100% immune to bee stings. Honey badgers have been known to keep raiding the same beehive for honey until they eventually get stung to death. But honey badgers don't care, they live life balls first with no fear of consequences. This willpower is how 2 honey badgers stepped to 6 young lionesses and still managed to survive. At one point, the honey badger found itself in the jaws of death, only to use its loose skin to turn around and bite the lion back. This leopard tried harassing a young baby badger, only to end up cosplaying as a cheetah once Mama Badger inserted herself into the conversation. Speaking of cheetahs, honey badgers have such a reputation that it's widely believed that cheetah cubs evolved to mimic their coloring to avoid confrontation with predators. A whole predatory cat, and evolution forced them to impersonate an African bush weasel just to get more respect. Hell for cheetahs, but another notch on a honey badger's chastity belt. I say chastity because they don't give a f. With the strength and durability of a wolverine, the intelligence and morale deficit of an otter, the pure coke-fueled willpower of the stoat, the honey badger is the only thing alive that can make a bowl cut intimidating. And that's gonna do it for this video, which was by far one of my most fun to make. If you want to support this channel, my Patreon's gonna be in the description. Also, like the video or suffer a honey badger vasectomy. Other than that, drink water, hug your parents, happy holidays, and see you in the next one.
I now understand why people put the comparison to honey badgers in one of the last videos I watched. I finally understand. That was enlightening. that was a very enlightening video about honey badgers. Oh my god. Alright. Alright. So I think, let's see, we did Reigns in the AI, we did the ones that were in Discord. What's left? I should look up Palace Cat. Are you talking about like the animal, or are you talking more like a video? Let's see, I'm gonna switch scenes here for a moment. I'm gonna pull up the list. I'm gonna save that for STB. Let's see, what do we got? Looks like I mostly... Do you want to do those today? I'm gonna save this for another day. Let's see, what's gonna be off a Palace Cat. How about I'll log a Palace Cat on my free time, but we're gonna do another one of Casual Geographics videos. If I can find the right scene again. Thank you, OBS. I need to relabel these so I can keep them straight. We're gonna do a video about a tiny cat dog. That's what we're gonna do. I had a couple more court-based videos, but I don't really feel like watching them right now, so we're gonna keep going on Casual Geographic for a moment. Tiny cat dog. Tiny cat dog took over the world. So adorable. Please don't blow my eardrums off. Please don't. I beg you.
What does the fox
Okay, a
say?
little bit. Oh my god.
What?
I hate this introduction already. Mainly because I hate that song.
Does the fox say? What does the fox say?
Hi, Cleo.
I love little foxes.
Alright, pop quiz. What is the most widespread carnivore on Earth? Out of all of those animals in the world, which one managed to spread further and thrive in more places than any other? This isn't rhetorical, by the way. How many answers? I'm actually curious. All votes in? Okay, good. It's the red fox.
Really? The red fox? I would have guessed it would have been a breed of dog, but a fox? Okay then.
Don't know when it happened, but somewhere in the history of Earth, there was a subplot where the fox took over the world, and they have not let up since. Today, there's about 23 flavors of fox seasoning this big
so
ball of dirt and
adorable.
water, with well over 40 subspecies on their roster. And they are everywhere. From griefing gardens in the suburbs, to pickpocketing polar bears in the north, to murking koalas in Australia. Trust and believe we gonna get to that. You can find some Vulpes variant virtually anywhere in the world that isn't the ocean or Antarctica. And the biggest flex of the foxes is the red fox. Despite being in the weight class of a small dog, no other mammalian carnivore owns more real estate. And even though they're invited to the carnivore cookout, technically they're omnivores. Carnivore owns more real estate. And even though they're invited to the carnivore small dog, no other mammalian carnivore owns more real estate.
Jesus fuck. That's all over the place. Holy shit. Wonder what's going on with like South America and Africa. Wondering why there's no one down there, but holy crap, that's a lot of real estate.
And even though they're invited to the carnivore cookout, technically they're omnivores, which means they eat, and I do not say this lightly, everything. Rabbits, rodents, birds, frogs, worms, fish, crabs, clams, insects, lizards, eggs, fruits, plants, garbage, cat food, dog food, carry-on, and I don't mean the bag, and actual feces. Literally their whole meal plan is, if it doesn't kill them first, they'll eat it. Foxes are also able to exploit the Earth's magnetic fields in order to catch bodies. You've probably seen this thing foxes do where they'll swan dive into a pile of snow. So cute. It's called mousing, and foxes are able to use magnetic fields as this kind of internal GPS, and they cross-reference that with a broken sense of hearing to figure out exactly where their target is and exactly where to land a critical hit. Foxes pretty much have a real-life wall hack, and they're one of the few animals to hunt like this. They're also smart enough to memorize the migration patterns of certain species of birds, meaning they know the exact time to pull up for free and easy protein. Foxes also manage to figure out the same with some turtles, since timing it right after they lay their eggs and peace out means low-effort omelets. Call that over easy. And arguably, no place has foxed around and found out more.
Aside from the pun about fox around, he looks so happy. Yes, there's a little blep. Little tongue sticking out. I know y'all know I love animals, but I just want to pet it. It looks so friendly. It looks so friend-shaped. Very friend-shaped. Must love, must protect.
Then Australia. Because way back in the 1800s, Europeans airdropped red foxes to the land down under for the sport of fox hunting. Evidently, the foxes weren't about to go down like that. To the point where a couple years ago, it's estimated that over 7 million foxes exist in Australia as a perpetual middle finger to the settlers that thought they'd be light work. Some unhinged foxes even learned to climb trees in order to snatch baby koalas and sugar gliders, proving that any animal that gets introduced to Australia will inevitably become a problem. And now, foxes and feral cats are like the Kobe and Shaq of putting native Australian animals on a shirt. That ability to adapt means foxes are one of the very few predators that do better in cities. Not as well, not almost as well, no, better. Today, the highest density of foxes living in Britain are shacking it up in the city. In some neighborhoods, you'll find twice as many fox families than you would in the countryside, and 200 times as many than in some desolate moors. And even though they get straight up bullied by bigger canines, foxes don't rely on a pack structure the same way wolves do. And they have enough pretty privilege to dodge the smoke everyone seems to have for coyotes. It also helps that they're nocturnal and move like introverts. Mama fox will go out of her way to clean the den area so well that the average person can walk right past it and not even realize there's a whole family underground. And just like with birds, foxes will study and memorize the schedule of humans in the area and only come out when it's least active. They'll even take advantage of garbage schedules so they know exactly when to come root through your trash. And they'll even take note of what times you often feed your pets so that they can steal their share. And you may never even notice. Depending on where you live, you can probably count on one hand how many foxes you've seen in your neighborhood, even if you've lived around them your entire life. And lucky for them, they happen to be just cute enough to not have to worry about getting their existence nuked like some of their predators. Speaking of which, let's talk about the many enemies of the fox. You got wolves, coyotes, cougars, lynxes, birds of prey, bears, wolverines, cars, and many, many more. Because the one bad thing about being a fox is everything on the census either wants to eat you or wants to kill you because you eat the same things. In fact, the first and sometimes last enemy they'll make is their family. Fox cubs will fight their siblings off rip in order to establish a hierarchy. And it's not the cute Disney play fighting I used to think it was. 20% of fox kids born will never leave the den. It's just straight violence out the womb. I can't even say it's on site since baby foxes live the Helen Keller experience for the first 2 weeks of their life.
I did not know that about foxes. I didn't know that they had more of a fighting to establish hierarchy. Like, holy. Because I know about cats and everything, play fight, but like, holy fuck, that's a lot.
Lucky for them, foxes often mate for life and bring up the kids together. I mentioned this in the Father's Day episode last video, but fox fathers will hide food around the den in these little pantries in order to teach his kids how to find food for themselves. I want you to keep that pantry thing in mind. We're gonna come back to that. Fox cubs have a couple months of a grace period before they have to go out and figure out life on their own. Lucky for them, they're part of the most unfairly versatile group of animals you'll ever see. Like, did you know foxes can climb trees? No, I don't mean like fully scale that, John. The gray fox has been seen ascending over 70 feet up into a tree, and they're one of the few foxes that flex retractable claws, which allows gray foxes to avoid conflict with predators like coyotes. Go ahead and ask cheetahs how important that is. Tree climbing only proves that foxes are just cat software marrying dog hardware, a cat dog if you will. And it shows that there isn't a lot of real estate on Earth that a fox can't claim. And no fox proves this more than my personal favorite, the Arctic fox. Because this igloo puppy has zero business surviving out here. Not only is it cold enough to get one shot by wind, the Arctic fox also has ops like wolves and polar bears to worry about. And since pretty much anything goes in Satan's ice rink, both of them will not hesitate to eat a fun-sized fox. And it really be your own kind, since another unlikely menace to an ice fox's life is the red fox. Because as small as they are, the red fox is still 2 to 3 times bigger than their snowy cousins. And yes, red foxes will 100% murk and eat their weaker relatives if it means surviving. So you think it'd be curtains for any pint-sized predator that even tries out here? Well, about that. Don't think for a second Arctic foxes don't have their tricks too. They'll strategically follow polar bears for miles just to clean off whatever they don't finish. We're talking about a house cat-sized fox slipping food from the literal biggest land predator on the planet, while also managing to stay far enough to avoid getting their consciousness confiscated permanently. These babyface survivors will even resort to scavenging the polar bear's food, except after it's already been digested and taken the south exit. Yeah, they're a different kind of potty mouth. But the Arctic fox has a secret to never having to miss a meal. These Q-tip terriers have a pantry system where they'll bury any extra food in a network of underground dens, which can stretch across 20 miles. And it's these food supplies that keeps the Arctic fox's pulse going in the dead of winter. There was even one time where researchers uncovered a fox cellar containing 38 birds, 4 rabbits, and about a dozen eggs. Oh, it's hoarding on 1,000, but it's what keeps them Euro-stepping death and ghosting the Grim Reaper. This cotton-colored canine has one more trick too. Coming in all white helps the glacier jockey cosplay as a snowdrift in order to avoid predators. But once the sun finally makes an appearance like an absentee father on tax day, the longer daylight triggers hormonal changes that causes them to change coats. They go from whiter than a party in the Hamptons to a thinner coat that matches the tundra the Arctic turns.
Aww, they're so adorable. I'm not quite seeing the blended in here on this current coat, but maybe that's because the coat's not done. But, is anyone here have a favorite fox? Tibetan. I like the Arctic fox, but I also like the fennec fox. I also like fennec foxes too, though. I like them all. Actually, but who am I kidding? I like anything that is friend shaped, even if it's not friend. I love everything that is friend shaped.
Turns into. And it's all these abilities that allows the chameleon of foxes to live in one of the most unlivable places on Earth. And so does the smallest fox in the world. On the other side of the spectrum, the fennec fox survives in a very different kind of desert. It's the smallest canine in the world and could probably get bodied by a chihuahua. Those massive ears are good for 3 things: increasing their overall surface area to help keep them cool, the same way elephant ears do, helping them pinpoint the insects, lizards, and rodents on its grocery list even while they're underground, and for looking absolutely adorable doing it. Like I said, foxes are broken, especially since fennecs can live off the moisture they get from food and by licking the dew from their dens. Not only that, but their kidneys are actually designed to function off very little actual water, making this travel-sized fox one of the few animals able to survive in the desert without drinking actual water. And as a human, you tap out from life after about 3 days of a water fast. In fact, where the fennec fox may never have to drink at all, the average adult should drink about 48 ounces a day. That's just over 2 of these. which can often feel like a chore, but AirUp's flavor pods makes it way easier. These pods actually manage to trick your brain by using scent flavors traveling to your brain to replicate the taste of whatever pod you chose. Whole time you're just drinking plain water. Just fill the bottle up, pull the pod to activate the flavor, hold the bottle upright, and yeah, that's pretty much it. My personal favorite's mango passion fruit, but you have a variety of options like watermelon, peach, cucumber, orange, apple, and a bunch more. And again, there's no calories, no sugar. It's just you gaslighting your brain, since about 80% of taste is actually dependent on smell. Now, I've never had a problem drinking enough water, but after deciding to try to cut down on sodas and juices, I can honestly say AirUp has come in clutch more than a few times. And you know this isn't just an ad. I literally tell y'all to drink water in every single video. And now I can help with that. So make sure you check out AirUp and their many flavor pods using the link in the description. Use the code CASUALGO15 for 15% off. And like always, make sure y'all staying hydrated out there. Hydration isn't a problem for a pocket-sized sand pup. Oh, and by the way, since their kidneys are always on desert mode, Fennec's fox pee is super concentrated and smells like pee-pee le pew. And since foxes will pee on any surface, 2 hours with a Fennec under your roof and your house will smell like a skunk orgy. So yeah, don't be confusing them for good pets. You shouldn't confuse them for a pale fox either. That's offensive to them. They look similar, but the pale fox is slightly bigger, has a smaller range, and is overall the less clouded dupe of the Fennec. And if you take a quick trip a couple hundred miles down south, you'll find the bat-eared fox. Unlike the rest of the fox family, their meal plan contains almost entirely insects, with most of their protein coming from termites. Those satellite dish ears allows it to eavesdrop on termite affairs before it packs them. They've even gone ahead and invested in extra teeth to help with their termite terminating tendencies. Bat ears also acts on fox-like by living in packs, usually made of a mating pair and their children, kind of the same way wolf packs work. It's like a fox that slept through the lecture on How to Fox 101, which actually makes a lot of sense since technically bat-eared foxes aren't true foxes. There are 12 species that earn the title of true fox, and 4 of them we've already mentioned: the red fox, the Arctic, the Fennec, and the pale fox. Another true fox is the Tibetan fox.
Aww.
No, I'm serious. That's exactly what they look like.
That face is so unimpressed. I think this may just became my 3rd favorite fox. He looks so unimpressed. I swear, like, you could be doing something super impressive. You're like, oh, I did a world record, and he's just gonna look at you like this. I love this. It's so adorable. Like, oh my god, I love it.
Like a reborn human realizing reincarnation ain't always sweet. Or like nature got drunk and tried redrawing foxes strictly from memory and then uploaded it as a dare. It's the only animal able to side-eye you while looking you dead in the face. A picture's worth 1,000 words, and every image of a Tibetan fox tells a story of apathy, indifference, and a splash of contempt. Now you might be wondering why this fox looks like an AI-generated Renaissance painting. Some say it's to help them cope with a windy environment. Some say it's because their skulls are specialized for carnivory. I say God or nature, whoever did this to them, has a twisted sense of humor. Evidently, the Tibetan fox does not. Also, you know the whole coyote badger team up that we all love so much and can't get enough of? Apparently the Tibetan fox has the same type of arrangement with Himalayan brown bears, where the bears will dig out pika burrows, that's a pika, and force them to run on land, where they get chased down by the fox. The fox isn't the digger the bear is, but the fox has better foot speed, so like any true dynamic duo, they cover each other's weaknesses, even if one of them looks allergic to oxygen. I'm gonna run through a couple more foxes real quick. We have Blandford's fox, found in the Middle East and Central Asia. They're easily the goats of foxes, able to scale anything short of 90 degrees and able to do the equivalent of a 10-foot box jump by leaping onto ledges. There's the kit fox of the Southwest, also known as the San Joaquin fox, and they're basically the American edition of the Fennec fox. We can't forget about the Corsac fox of the Mongolian steppe and Central Asian deserts. Then you got the Cape fox of South America, and the slightly bigger Indian-based Bengal fox. I was not kidding. Unless you're neighbors with the cast of Happy Feet, there's likely more foxes in your area than hot singles just dying to meet you. Foxes come in so many forms that they even have their equivalent of a shiny Pokemon. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the cross fox. It's actually a red fox with partial melanism. You know, the same thing that turns leopards and jaguars into black panthers. They're more common in Canada, where up to 1/3 of the red fox population has this bimelanated alternate skin. And even rarer than them are silver foxes, which is just a red fox with complete melanism, gang. Cause yeah, red foxes aren't always red. Like I said, foxes exist in many forms, but there's one final form not even they saw coming. Pets. That's right, there's a population of domestic foxes in the world as we speak. Basically, the lore goes, this guy, Dmitry Belyaev, asked a question. How did we go from this apex predator to a lapdog? So he and graduate Ludmila Trut tried to see if they could replicate the wolf domestication process, except with foxes. They created a fox farm with 100 vixens and 30 males, and which foxes got to mate depended on which ones were the most tolerant of humans. The most human-friendly foxes fornicated, and this process repeated itself with the next generation. Essentially, they were selecting for traits that would make them the most fit for human companionship. And as the experiment wore on, the foxes went from not fearful of people, to tolerant of people, to actively seeking out people. Later generations would develop an affinity towards humans, sniffing and licking people, and even replacing the aggressive yips and shrieks with more passive whimpers and pants. But what we weren't expecting was, as their personalities and attitudes towards people changed, so did their bodies. The more people-friendly foxes sported droopy ears and curled up tails, which is pretty different from the upright ears and downwards pointed tails of their wild cousins. And after decades of successfully playing God with foxes, we now live in a world where you can adopt and own a pet silver fox. Now here's the part of the video where I tell you why you ain't ready for that. They poop and pee everywhere, and there isn't a surface in their house they can't get to.
You little shit.
They scream, especially at night. You'll be finding out what the fox says while you're trying to count sheep. Not to mention you're probably gonna sacrifice furniture for their happiness. That combination adds up to a good chance you're up at 3 AM cleaning fox feces off the top of your fridge while cursing yourself for not just getting a hamster. You can probably find a way to make it work if you do the research and you're committed enough, but, and I'm gonna say this as many times as it's applicable, if you're that willing to sacrifice your sleep, sanity, and social life for a screaming, pooping deratio of a creature, just have children. Because foxes are great wild animals, but they can really be some mid-as-hell pets. But that's gonna do it for this video. Friendly reminder that I do have a book out. It's called 100 Animals That Can, Redacted, Kill You. Link in the description if you're interested. Shout out to Arab for sponsoring this video. Shout out to you all for watching this video. Drink water, wear sunscreen, touch grass, hug your parents, and I'ma see y'all in the next one. Oh yeah, and happy birthday to me.
I love you. Are you my porky potato? Are you my porky potato? Hi. Hi. Oh my gosh.
Okay, just because I want to pick up and love all the little animals I can and give them all the attention and want to adopt them, but I know I would be out of my element with the fox. Genuinely, right? The only time I would even ever consider trying to get a domesticated fox is if I had like a bunch of land that it could be on and be free. Not like, 'cause I would feel terrible. I would feel absolutely terrible keeping an animal like a fox cooped up inside. Like, no. Like, you're right though, my brain initially was like domestication and I was like, oh, it's possible. But I realized also that I should not. Because just because something can be a pet doesn't mean it should. You know, like, deadass, if I had the resources and the funds, I would just want to open a what are they called? I would want to open like a rescue or like an animal sanctuary, something like that. But that's expensive. And I don't ever see that happening. I love the little floopers. Alright, Minna, have a good one. I do still need to make dinner before the Princess Bride movie night. I think they're pets. I would consider Komodo dragon a pet. I would consider it friend-shaped. But that should wrap up this stream though for today.